Why is the seller selling is the $1,000,000 question that all buyers ask, and it's the one question that I hate. I have to admit, I hate when buyers ask this question. And I don't like it because you're never going to really get the truth. That's for one. For two, as a buyer, you have to do your due diligence before purchasing a home. You will have a home inspection. The home inspector will be someone of your own choosing. So there's no relationship between the home inspector and the seller. Also, if you're getting a mortgage, the mortgage company is going to send out an appraiser to appraise the home to make sure that the home's value is equal to or greater than the amount that you're borrowing to pay for the home. So why is the seller selling is really a non-important factor in my book. I do understand that there are some sellers that believe that they can use the reason that the seller is selling against the seller to try to finagle a better deal out of the seller. But in today's market, there's so much competition that if you don't buy the house, someone else will. So really, when you're coming to the table, you just need to come with your best and highest offer in order to get the deal closed. But to satisfy any buyer that is out there looking, I have put together a list of 5 plus a bonus reason why sellers decide to sell. If you're interested, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Tina Devine. I'm a real estate agent in New York. I'm also the owner and broker of record of my own real estate company in New Jersey, Devine Real Estate, and welcome to my channel. Today, I will be giving you 5 reasons sellers decide to sell, and I have a bonus reason why sellers decide to sell. I put together this list based on my own personal experience in working with sellers and buyers. Number 1, job change / relocation. I have sold multiple houses because the seller has decided to sell because they have to relocate from New Jersey cross country to Texas, Arizona, Kansas, California, all of these different places. This is probably going to give you the most motivated seller because they usually have a hard date where they have to be in their new state because they have to start work. And if they have a family, they're even more eager to get the transaction going because their children have to find doctors, their new schools, and just get acclimated to their new surroundings. So having a seller that has a job change or that has to relocate for whatever reason is going to give you your most motivated seller off the list that I have. Number 2, sick family member or death in a family. This is another category where I have been a part of multiple transactions. I would say that this particular seller is motivated, but because of the severity of their life experiences and things that's going on within their family, sometimes these transactions can become quite difficult and the seller can become non-responsive. And if you are someone who is looking to purchase a home and move into that home, it can become quite the headache when you're trying to get a response or you're trying to get the seller to sign off on a contract so you guys can get it into attorney review and the seller is MIA or the seller is dealing with family that is sick or, other emergencies that's going on, because that is always going to take precedence over a real estate transaction. So these type of transactions usually are very difficult for owner occupants. But if you're an investor and you're looking to buy an investment property and you have the time to wait for the seller to come back, then it may be profitable for you. You may be able to strike a deal with this particular seller. Number 3, prices are up. This particular seller is motivated by money. These particular sellers are not looking for a deal. Usually, they can wait and hold out to get the amount of money that they want. This particular deal will work best for a buyer who wants to be in a certain zip code, or a buyer who wants to be in a certain school district, and they're willing to pay a little extra, or they willing to sweeten the deal for the seller in order to get the property because there's some reason why they want that particular property. These particular sellers are usually pretty hard because their only motivation is money. Like, they are just going to wait and wait and wait until they get the dollar amount that they want, and then they'll be willing to sell. Number 4, separation/divorce. Homeowners were going through a divorce, or they have already gone through a divorce, and they have a divorce decree that states that they have to sell the property and divide the profits amongst the two of them. But I have never closed on any of these transactions because these particular sellers are the most difficult. Usually a couple they're so in love and everything is gumdrops and Skittles when they first purchase their home, but then 10 or 7 or even 5 years down the line, they're now going through a divorce and they now hate each other, and they can make everyone around them hate each other as well. These transactions are the absolute worst, and it's even more difficult when one of the people involved in the divorce are currently living in the home, because they usually don't open the door for buyers to come in, whether they're home or they're not home. They don't make any type of arrangements to really get the property sold. So you usually have one person who wants to get the property sold, that wants to get this transaction over with so they could be done with this other person and done with the divorce and everything. But then you have this other person that's being spiteful and really trying to stick it to their partner, and these transactions can go on and on and on for months without anything coming out of it. So and this is one of the reasons why I say it doesn't really matter why the seller is decided to sell, because if you walk up to a seller who's going through a divorce and you say, well, why are you deciding to sell? They're not going to say, well, I cheated on my wife and now she's divorcing me and we have to sell the house. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to give you the real reason they're putting the house on the market. They're usually going to give you some fabricated reason that sounds good and something that's going to keep you on the hook as a buyer so that they can just get this transaction over with. Number 5, landlords no longer want to be a landlord. Again, this is the type of transaction that I have encountered multiple times. I have dealt with this a lot. Most first-time buyers tend to buy, especially in the areas that I service. First-time buyers tend to buy multifamily houses. For one, they can utilize the FHA, which gives them a lower down, which allows them to purchase a home with a lower down payment. And depending on the city that they buy in, they may even qualify for first-time home buyer grants that help them pay down their mortgage, which decreases their monthly mortgage amount. And on top of that, they have a apartment or a rental unit that they can rent out and get income from that unit, which also helps them pay their monthly mortgage, the taxes, the water and sewage. So it really helps the buyer financially to purchase a multifamily house. But one of the things that no one ever talks about is the fact that being a landlord is a job. When everything is great and you get along with your tenants and your tenants get along with you, there's no problem. Your tenants are paying you every month, there's no problem. But once tenants fall behind on their monthly bills, or they fall behind on paying their rent, or you and the tenant have some type of conflict, now there's a problem. Now there's a headache. Now you have a nightmare on your hands that you have to come home to every single day. And it can become a lot. It can be, something that was once so great has now become your worst nightmare. And I have dealt with this a lot from a lot of landlords where they're just done to the point where they never want to be a landlord ever again. And when you combine this with a market where prices are up and homes are selling quickly, why not sell? And in most cases, especially if the landlord or the property owner purchased a home 5, 7, or even longer, or even more years ago, most likely they purchased at a much lower price that they can sell it for right now. And why not? Why not put the house on the market, get the money you can get for it, and pay off your mortgage, and then buy yourself a single family home? And again, if you are a buyer and you walking up to this landlord, why you decided to sell? They're not going to say, I don't get along with my tenants. I hate my tenants. My tenants are disgusting. They're not going to say this to you. They're just going to give you some fabricated answer and hope that you give them a good offer. And that's it. And number 6, and this is the bonus one. The seller is, or the property owner is facing some sort of financial difficulty. While no one likes to talk about their finances, and especially you don't want to talk about your finances when they're not good. It does happen where people go through financial hardships. And when you have a market that is healthy, why not sell the house now? And I've sold homes where the sellers were facing financial difficulty, where one of the partners left, or they broke up, or one of the partners passed away, or maybe one partner lost their job and another partner had a income reduction at their job, and now they're facing this huge mortgage payment along with all of the other expenses that you have to pay throughout the month. And it just becomes too much of a burden for them. So they decide to sell the house while the prices are good, and they relocate to areas where the cost of living is cheaper, or they relocate and they rent for a while. Either way, they're facing a financial difficulty. They put in a house on the market and they're looking to get out of that debt. And you as a buyer, you walk up to them. They're not going and say, well, why are you deciding to sell? They're not going to say, I'm facing financial difficulty and I'm looking to sell for a much higher price than I purchased for, so that I can take, the difference and buy myself something more affordable. They're not going to say that to you. They're not going to give you the truth. So asking why a seller has decided to sell can be a dumb question. But I think this kind of summarizes the reasons why most properties are hitting the market. I hope that this answers your questions. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can please like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, peace.